Or if I look cute.
We'll see.
We'll see how cute she looks.
I think she looks pretty cute.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing David's hat today.
Hello. What do you guys think of the music, huh? Pretty chill, right?
So
It's the
chill.
sound of silence.
The chillest. You're an endless music maker. But there's always like a twinge of Asian.
I know. I don't know why. It's like that Vietnamese, like. I know. I don't know why. It just bleeds and everything. Yeah, you can take the.
Even when he sings country songs off the dome, they've got it.
Always goes Asian.
I
don't know why. That's just how I am.
I mean,
it's just
genetics.
It's in my blood. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm not even Vietnamese. I'm Japanese. Yeah, I should be more like samurai. Can't even do it.
I know. I was waiting.
I can only do Asian women.
I was waiting for the impression.
Yeah. That's all.
No,
that's all I
it?
got.
Oh. Do you want to share your Asian woman?
Not a dancing monkey.
We just go into it. Just like full on talent show. All our lives are just your talents. Variety show.
All right.
Do you want to do that?
What? Talent show?
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. My name is David. I'm here to share my talent. Thanks for having me at the talent show.
What's your talent, you think?
What's my talent? I don't know. I just always would just play Wonderwall. That's all I had. That was my only talent.
That's your talent. That's pretty, that's impressive.
Yeah, I guess so. It's
impressive to play anything and sing.
Yeah.
Oh, play and sing.
I'd play guitar and sing.
That's like extra talented. Mm-hmm. My talent is that I'm left-handed.
That's pretty good. Did you do that one on stage?
No, I never.
Hello, everyone. Today, I know you may be thinking I'm going to write with my right hand, but here's my left hand. Watch me pick up the pencil and write.
I know. I feel like it. Well, people are always confused by it.
Yeah.
So
how can you do that?
It felt like an amazing quality that I had that I didn't even know how amazing
I think it is. I mean, I might be biased, but I think it's the best quality.
You know what's crazy is me, David, my mom, and my childhood friend, we all went into a store together. And I think the girl at the counter was left-handed. I was like, oh, my God, you're left-handed. And then she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh, I am too. Oh, all of us are. And I looked around. It was all like 5 of us in one shop, all left-handed. I was like, wow. That is bananas.
We are special and unique individuals.
That's true.
Which I think is the topic of today's live.
Is it? Well, before that, I want to say, I think, you know what I would do at a talent show? Is I do my Donald Duck voice.
All right, give it to us.
No.
Oh. This is the talent show. Here, let me, I'm going to scoot this camera over just a tiny bit just so you got you a bit more in frame.
Well, and then I don't want to block my eyes. The shadow. On the hat. Well, because what if my face looks weird when I do the Donald Duck voice? Like, what if everything starts shaking, you know?
Everything starts shaking?
Yeah, like my jowls.
Violently? Your jowls.
And what if it's not actually as good as I think it is? Because it's not.
I think it's pretty good.
It's okay.
I think it's pretty. I think it's impressive because I can't do that thing. I don't know how in the world you do that. Hey, Ben.
Hey,
Hello
Ben.
Again. You got a question for us, man?
Yeah, I hope so.
I hope you got a question because we're just winging it over here.
Ben, I just sent you a message back actually. Telling him that God actually in fact loves him. And that is made obvious by his slew of experiences. You get so much good material from shitty experiences in life.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, it's remarkable to me. It's remarkable.
Yeah, because only you.
Yes. It reminds me of Nick's synchronicities.
Synchronicities.
Yes, his synchronicities.
We can't. He's the punny one.
It's unbelievable. Nick has the life of like someone who like has been microdosing mushrooms every day for the past 50 years.
Well, okay, listen. Is Nick even here? I'm gonna
I don't
talk
think
about
so.
him.
I don't think so.
Nick,
All
if
right,
you're
let's do
here,
it. Let's do it. You'll see it.
we just
You'll see it.
title this. Well, yeah, because it's bananas.
Yeah. Like nothing I've ever seen before outside of very ungrounded spiritual people. But Nick's a
Exactly.
very grounded person.
Mm-hmm.
So it's even more fascinating to me that
I know
that's how his life shows up.
if you think of your like, this is not, this isn't Nick at all, but just to
Yeah.
paint the picture, like if you think of your like, I don't know, like it's like a honky tonk, like redneck, like just like simple construction worker, like simple minded or something like that is, but, and then the synchronicities come in. I don't even know how to, that I'm saying it right, but it's like, it's ridiculous. Like
Mm-hmm.
the juxtaposition of it, and I'm not saying that Nick is any of that because he's not any of
Mm-hmm.
that. But like, there's like a
But normal, not like a.
right
It's not like a hippie dude wearing linen pants who tells you
who is
about a great experience he had at the coffee shop earlier that day.
right because you're kind of just rolling your eyes. Like,
Yeah,
oh.
it would be. Yeah, it would be like going to a construction site and like meeting someone who's really cool and chill and has like really beefy hands and is like strong, sexy and just talking,
Wow.
dripping with manliness. Yeah.
Do tell.
Well, I mean, because I think about like the fireworks and like the songs on the radio, and
Yeah.
Nick would just ask things, and he'd be in conversation with God, like, hey, like just like show me something. I just kind of like want some like validation that I'm on the right track or I'm thinking along the right terms, and like I just wanted to feel like
And most people see like a number on the road or something, like
yes,
the highway
yes,
sign
yes.
is like 47.
But for Nick, like a very specific song
Yeah.
comes on that he specifically requested, and then there's a fireworks show
Yeah.
at the
Which I
exact
think
same
he also
moment.
requested, didn't he?
I don't
Less
know. I
fireworks.
don't know, but it just it was unbelievable.
And it wasn't like the 4th
I
of
don't
July.
experience reality like that. So it's the same. Like it's the same with Ben. Like I don't experience reality as like comically challenging as you do. As you do. But I experience a degree of like weird emotional turmoil that most people don't, and like the tiniest things can just take my emotion and just like rip them into a place that then I can mine for like spiritual truth and wisdom, and it makes no fucking sense to most people. And I think it's similar, but it's cool the way reality kind of responds to our soul's makeup and the way our perception works, and yeah, it's really fucking cool.
Yep. I know, it's so interesting. So I did an Art of Truth for Nick, and then I sent it to him, and I did one for Angela too, for his wife. So they both have an Art of Truth, and he sent me back his response of what he thought of it, which he didn't see the truth of it, which fucking pissed me off because he saw all his like flaws and inaccurate. It was so inaccurate, and that's what I told him. I was like, this is inaccurate. Like I call bullshit. Because being in his field was a whole different thing because the channel was so clean. I've never experienced anyone else's channel that pure, ever. I also haven't redone yours, but
I'm not offended.
okay.
It's okay. Nick can be purer than me. I would not be offended at that.
But it was just nuts. Like there was no noise. And I was saying in my message to him, it was just this feeling of like, no wonder everyone loves him. No wonder God loves talking to him. Like, no wonder, like that's how it felt being in his field. Like the clarity, like it was just, I can't even explain it. It was just really fucking cool. So then for him to see it and be like, oh yeah, but blah, blah, fuckity fuck, blah. I'm like, inaccurate. Inaccurate. Like maybe someday. No.
Yeah.
No,
But this isn't
no,
like a
no.
okay. But this isn't like a calling out Nick thing because
well, I want him to hear
Nick's
my
fantastic.
words. I think he's amazing. That's why I'm calling bullshit.
Yes.
But
I agree.
I want Nick to hear my words versus read them in text because I think that's important to hear my tone.
Yeah.
So yeah, that.
Yeah. But I think there's the larger theme there that I think is also the thread. So it's cool that you brought it up because so last night I stayed up till 6 a.m. and I was I ended up going through, I guess it was 7. I finished around 6:30 or something. Then I
You
kind of was
came to bed
winding
at
down.
7,
Yeah, I
and
did
I
come
was,
to bed
like,
at 7. So
just
maybe it was like
getting up.
6:50, and I still said 6. So 6 was the number still. So, but yeah, it was 7. You're right. It was exactly 7. But so I was up,
Pedantic.
and I read this article on Jay Shetty. Fascinating, by the way. It's a article on The Guardian that just came out.
Okay, yeah. Should we set it up even earlier?
We can talk about that, but that's a separate issue.
Okay.
But I was thinking about just myself and our work and how much I don't want to be like I don't want to be the typical social media influencer. And you know, they're calling out things about his plagiarism and how his origin story isn't actually true. How he fudged elements of his origin story to make it seem like he was more of a monk, and like he had like more of an awakening than he did.
Let's be real.
So yeah, but he was involved in the Hare Krishna movement, and that's not a part of his story at all. But his dad was in it, and his dad was kind of like a community manager or something, and he became like some sort of community manager, something like that. He's in like old Hare Krishna like newsletters. I went deep into this article. It's like a 6,000 word article on The Guardian by this guy John something McDowell. But anyway, that whole thing then sent me into this pocket where I was like, I just don't want to be that. I don't want to be that, and I can feel this thing inside of me. It's been there for a while, and I wrote about it in the article why for intuitionOS magazine, why I channel even though it's inconvenient. And there's just this feeling of like, man, it's really inconvenient to be a channel, and it's very difficult doing this and being this and standing on something so fundamentally just like crazy from consensus perspectives and yada, 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 yada. And I end up hitting this pocket, and it drives all the way back down. And it's what we've been talking about throughout the whole week on our lives. It drives down ultimately to if God's real and all of this is real, then what I'm doing is okay. And I know that. And I got pretty far logically with B sitting, just typing on that, on all the reasons why I could possibly logically conclude that God wouldn't be real and why my intuition isn't valued by me, why it isn't valuable. And the only thing that I really had left that I couldn't logically disprove and get in there was, okay, but how do I know that B isn't bad in some way? Like, how do I know that this being that I channel isn't dark in some way? And so that was ended up being the topic of last night. Jay Shetty got me to, okay, is B good? That makes no sense, but it got there. And I ended up going through and watching, I pulled up an old hard drive and I watched videos that I took of myself channeling before I came out publicly as a channel. So this was, my channel opened in November. And this was in January. And in January 2015, January 2016. January 2017. Yes. Because my channel opened November 2016. Mm-hmm. So this was January 2017. And I'm sitting in my room and I am talking. And I like wake up probably like at 3 a.m. or something. And I'm like so inspired and I like shoot a video. And I looked terrible. Like I looked like someone who you would see on the streets of San Francisco, like a homeless man, like rambling. In my eyes, I looked like manic and unstable, and the way I was talking, I forget how I used to talk.
And that's when I was like, I think we're supposed to be together.
Yeah, and I was like, I think I am everything. Who are you and who am I? Not that bad, but almost.
You really think so? You look that bad?
I could show you, but I don't think you would like me anymore. Like that's how embarrassing it is. That's how embarrassing it is.
But I saw those videos back then.
Yeah, maybe, but back then you were in a different place too. Fuck. It was a little terrifying, honestly. A little terrifying to see where I actually was at. And I reflected back and I walked through the timeline. Why didn't anyone warn us? I don't know, because everyone around us was in a similar place. Everyone was very similar place. We were in an echo chamber of lots of drugs, lots of spiritual exploration, lots of breath work, lots of oneness, new age ideology, and also entrepreneurs.
And business.
And business. You're fucking ground, making an impact through money. So since we were there, yeah, it didn't seem weird at the time, but fuck, it was wild. And like when I go back even further, so June 2015, I had to kind of put together this timeline because this chapter of my life is actually very fuzzy, and it's clearer now. Like I understand the dates now, but I couldn't have mapped it. Like I couldn't have told you without actually looking in my Gmail and my old calendar. So I went through and I put back together the timeline of a month before I moved out to California, leaving my ex-girlfriend in Tucson, like calling her, telling her that I wasn't going to be with her anymore, signing up for a $20,000 business coaching thing in California.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do. Yeah, maxing out my credit cards, doing a balance transfer to pay this guy. And which I don't know why I didn't put on the credit card. So why would I do a balance transfer? What the fuck was I even thinking? That makes no sense. But that's what I did. I balance transferred just to get the extra fee. And then I also did LSD. I did LSD. My brother was hosting a retreat, and then he had all the guys do LSD or something at the time. That was just the LSD chapter.
That's what you do.
And fuck. From that point, my life just started to unravel like crazy. Like fucking crazy. And I watched from, so that was June of 2015. December of 2015, I'm lying on my brother's floor. He goes to Hawaii. I was originally supposed to go, but I was broke. I gave up everything. I couldn't do coaching anymore. I quit the first coaching program, joined a second coaching program because the guy paid for me to go to a DMT trip, and I thought that was a great idea. And I also thought that he was like great and spiritual and understood what I was going through, so that seemed like a better idea. I was in his program for like 2 months, but then I just let everything go. And I basically told all my clients, first I told all my clients, hey, I'm doing this great thing and it's scaling it. And then probably like a month or two later, I was like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to do a free group. I'm going to do a free group in Slack called the Freedom Family. So that, welcome to the Freedom Family. This is the thing. If you want to come to just welcome to it. What?
Ahead, those words, you would have been ahead of the curve for 2020.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, that's what I wanted to do, was the Freedom Family. It is about being free from the limitations of whatever. And it was freedom-based life, freedom-based relationships, freedom-based health. There was that's where I was going. And
polyamory for sure.
Definitely. Poly, for sure.
Poly Dave.
Poly Dave. Yeah, I was very into polyamory back then. So all of that. But then December, just everything's crashing down, and I'm poor and broke, and I have no idea what to do with my life, and just in the darkest place I've ever been in my whole life. That was the worst. And my brother's in Hawaii on a trip that I was supposed to be on but couldn't afford to go on anymore. So I'm at his house, and he's pissed because I don't have money. And he wants me to have money so we can have great experiences, so that I can enjoy, so that he can't enjoy his wealth if I also don't have wealth, and that was my problem.
He should have just paid for you to go.
That's what I said, and he said, no, that's not how it works. He was even angrier about that. So
what
then,
do I know?
So I'm at his house, and I'm laying on his ground, and he has a long foam roller, one of those like 3-foot foam rollers, very long, and I put it on my forehead, and it's just like, I guess, to ground me. And I lay there. I don't remember doing anything else other than laying on the floor. And I looked at the calendar. It was from the 24th to the 9th. The 24th of December to the 9th of January. I was just laying and just fucking empty. Empty as fuck.
And this was January 2016.
This was January. Yep, 2016. 2016. And that was around, I mean, somewhere in here, I was like, fuck all of this, I'm done. And atheism was, honestly, I feel like atheism kind of like saved my psychology. I could finally put together things because I like started to find certainty again. And I remember journaling, and I would journal. It's embarrassing what I would have to journal just to feel like I was grounded. I would journal, my name is David Jonathan Rostowski. I live in Encinitas, California, or it's Carlsbad. I live in Carlsbad, California. I'm at my brother's house. I would just journal things that I knew because I feel like I didn't know anything anymore. Like my brain was so fucked up and so jumbled. And maybe like October was the peak worst of just like the fucking delusion and everything fucking breaking apart. And there was a point where I remember sitting in the backyard. I was living in a different house before this happened. And then I moved out. It was like a community house. And I remember sitting in the backyard and I was looking and I saw in all of the shadows, there were like shadowy figures moving. Like I was visibly seeing things move around. I was in a very rough place.
Yeah.
So then January comes and I'm sitting and so my channel opens in November. And then of the following year, so this is like 11 months later, my channel opens. And then January, so a full year after this point where I'm laying on my brother's floor, a full year later, I'm sitting with B, and we're having these conversations. And I watch over the period of 4 months. There's probably 5 or so videos. So I just watched them all. They're each like 45 minutes long. And I watched, first off, when I go into my channel, I just start purging. Like it's like an exorcism. The first maybe 10, 15 minutes of those videos is just me sitting and breathing, and it's like it gave me chills. I was so uncomfortable at how much darkness was just leaving my body.
I do remember that.
And then B would just land, and it was crystal fucking clear. And B was like, all right, well, here's what's happening. You're doing great. This is great. And here's the timelines. Here's where things go. And I would come out and I would look at my eyes and I was clear. And it was seeing that and just the way that I was watching B stitch my psychology back together and give me an understanding of what reality was. And watching that now, because now I feel like B's helpful for me. Obviously, I fucking sat for fucking 6 hours yesterday. But it's not as helpful as it was back then. Back then, I was in desperate need of help, and no one could help me. No one around understood what was happening. No one around had the skills. I was in the mecca of spirituality, personal development, and the people around me were scared and didn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. I watch an external being through my own body, purge the shit out of my system, land into my system, and then walk me through stitching my psychology back together. And then this was probably April of 2017. I'm like making coherent sentences. I make sense. I'm like, I can feel that I'm on some pulse of truth, and I'm struggling. I'm definitely struggling. And I'm worried constantly that I'm going to run out of money and die. I'm worried that things aren't going to pan out and be okay. Like if I re-engage with the world and do the marketing work that kind of fell in my lap, that I would leave behind channeling. Like it felt like it was like a decision. Like either I'm going to re-enter the world or I'm going to follow this spiritual thing. But following the spiritual thing had no practical elements to it. So it was just, do I give up everything again? Like where do I go? And I was so fucking confused. But slowly they use the galactic framework that fucking everyone else around me had, and they stitch together the Oversoul and B and God and a larger network of light beings and the message that I'm here to deliver and the work that I'm here to do, and they start bringing things through, and they do it in a way that's like, that for me at the time I felt like I was documenting this for other people. Like this is like world changing. This is for everybody else, and it was 100% for me. 100, and it's so obvious that they're just trying to give me context to where I can rest and I know that my life is okay. And then in May, I'm sitting and I'm talking. This is right before I came out as a channel. I'm talking and I'm like, man, Miriam's really been pressing me to come out as a channel and to be like honest with who I am in the world. And like, I know that's good for me, but man, that's terrifying. And like, man, yeah, she's just really good for me. Like, God, I love that woman. Like, oh, it's so good for me. But I was just terrified. And then I come out as a channel, and it's wild. In the period of 5 months, watching me put my psychology back together from, honestly, like embarrassingly, like I feel like a San Francisco fucking homeless man living in a tent, rambling, doing drugs, to then like, okay, I have purpose. I'm choosing light 100%, and I'm going to give it all to God. Fuck it. Like, I don't care how much I need to struggle. I don't care if I'm going to be poor for the rest of my life. I don't give a fuck. Whatever. I'm doing it, and I'm in. And I was talking like this, like finally putting together all of the pieces. Like, okay, good. This thing in me matters, and I have to do this over everything else. And I don't even know what the fuck's happening. I said, I don't even know 100% what the fuck's happening, but all I know is that this feels really good, and I have to do this, because if I don't do this, I feel like I'm going to die. Like, nothing feels worth it. Everything is dog shit. I hate it all, but this feels right. This feels good, so I'm going to do it. I'm 100% and whatever. I was like, God, just do whatever. And I didn't even know. I was saying God at the time. I don't know. I don't know why I was saying God at the
Yeah,
time.
that's interesting.
But I was like, all right, God, I give up. Wherever you want me to go, I'll go.
That's interesting too, because that community doesn't use that word at all.
No, I know. I don't know where it came from.
It's like
I don't know where it came from.
Shakti. Hi, Sarah. I know you're behind, but I'm saying hi now.
Hello.
And you'll hear it when you hear it, which will be real time for you.
That's true.
Right?
That's true. So anyway, I'm sure I'll talk about this more, or I'll write about it or something. There's more here, and I don't know if I'll ever put out the videos. Maybe, or probably not. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll clip them up and make it
What if somebody
pretty
like,
and less
finds them
embarrassing
someday and then
I don't know. Then I'll be embarrassed and roll over in my grave. They're not fucking seeing the light of day until then. But there was something about watching it back where I went, oh, like this is like real shit. Like this is like I can't debate this anymore. Like I can't debate whether or not B is good. When I watched myself batshit crazy, swarm with darkness, B comes in, my body clears and I'm clear. And then it puts together my psychology and I'm a functional human being again. And B doesn't tell me, give up everything and follow me and let's do this work together. B goes, yeah, like you should probably do the marketing thing. Like your system can't handle it. You need more emotional bandwidth, so you need to go make money. I was like, that's good advice. That's good advice for that very ungrounded version of me.
100%.
Like, fuck, okay, cool. Like I see it. And it was like seeing how one, God worked through everything, how B helped so much, how the structure, it was like everything that I know now was there the whole time, and the point where I was lost. And it was the force like reconstructing my psyche and pulling me out of this like hellhole that was that spiritual community. And that, yeah, fuck, that just dark hellhole.
Wow.
But I guess the thing that I'm sitting with, and I think there's something coming through for the Pulse meditation in our membership, members.secondparadigm.com, the Pulse, $2.99 a month, or included in members and members plus. There's something coming through in this Pulse meditation. I think I'll probably do it tonight, maybe tomorrow, but probably tonight. Yeah, I think so. But there's this sense of like, remember how far you've come. And it sounds so obvious, but when I really, really look at where I was, and I really look at how much I was struggling, and I really look at how much clearer I am now, it's so fucking obvious.
Yeah.
It's so obvious. It's painfully obvious. And the fact that my psychology, having gone through all of this, that having lived all of it, that I could still grapple with like, okay, well, how do I know for sure this is good? How do I know for sure that I'm safe? How do I know for sure that this is working? How do I know for sure that like people are going to accept me? And like, how do I know that it's going to work out financially? And the fact that I can even make those considerations, knowing where I came from, knowing how dark and lost I was, how much like actual darkness was in my body, how confused I was, how much just constant psychic attack I was under, how just confused. I was confused all the time. I had no idea. I was relentlessly like, I just want to do the spiritual thing. I want to like search for truth. I want to find out what's really happening here. That's all I wanted. And where I ended up in the best possible place to do it. Yeah. I can't think of any better place to be in really in the world. Maybe, I mean, definitely in America, but probably in the world. I can't think of any better place to be than where I was. And the place that I ended up was just swarm with darkness, deeply confused, and everything falling apart, and scammed. Like, fuck. Also scammed at the same time. Also like $20,000 in debt. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But even from there, just following the inner whisper, just like there,
you can still trace the light through the whole thing.
You can still find a light through the whole thing, and the light's the thing that pulled us out. And it's the thing that we've now dedicated our entire lives to. And to not remember where we came from is, in a way, to forget where we actually are.
Ooh, careful. Jay Shetty's going to steal that quote.
Yeah. There's all these examples of Jay Shetty. Like a Tony Robbins quote is like, if you act how you were in the beginning of a relationship, there will never be an end. And his quote that he put Jay Shetty underneath was, if you act how you are at the start of the relationship, there will never be a finish. Which is like just bad grammar too. It's not even when you would change just the tiniest things. And what I didn't know is there are full-blown skits like his, his videos of one of like the melodramatic where like they have actors and whatever, and there was a woman who like she was blind, and she like her husband was like, come on, I just want to marry you, and she's like, I just like, if I'm able to see your face, then I'll get married. It's like something weird like that. But then she gets a like surprise eye donor, and then is able to see for the first time, and then she realizes that her boyfriend is blind, and then she doesn't want to be with him because of how he looks, and she can't imagine staring at him for however long. But then like she finds out that like he writes her a letter afterwards and is like, I hope you enjoy those eyes, like they were mine and I gave them to you.
What?
Yeah, so that was one of the stories, and it was like, I don't know what the message was. It's really fucking, just kind of intense. But that was one of the stories. But it showed up like in other Facebook posts, like from other like that exact story, and he just took the story from like another Facebook page and then made it into a skit and then put it on his YouTube channel as his own.
Oh God.
It was like shit like that.
Yeah. I think he did some. Well, I went down the Jay Shetty rabbit hole a little bit this morning. So last night we ended up watching the H3 podcast, and they were talking shit about Jay Shetty. So that's what started this whole thing.
Yes.
And like Ethan from the H3 podcast, I guess he's always had it out for Jay Shetty. Like they have a cardboard cutout of him.
Yeah,
in the
not
back.
just for the episode. It's been there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I saw it once, and I was like, I thought it was a real dude sitting back there. And
Yeah.
then, So anyway. So, and I'm not super familiar with Ethan or I don't typically, I don't know. I just don't jive with their style. But I do appreciate how much shit he's talked over the years and how much beef he gets in and how he just, I just love it. I love the drama as a outsider. But anyway, we went down that rabbit hole, and then this morning I watched some other Jay Shetty like women unpacking. There were these two women, one Nicole Arbor, who's like funny. If you think she's funny, she's funny. And then some other girl like Kay's World or something. They had both done videos on Jay Shetty.
Yeah.
But one of them was so it was on the like plagiarism of it all, that whole thing. But then how he would do these videos and like just crazy acting, and he like similar to the eye thing, like it's just like these skits, these videos, like just so intense and like deeply like traumatic, and then his voice comes in at the end and there's like a lesson in it. But he also did one, I guess, on BLM. So he did like one where he did like a spoken word piece. It's so cheeseball. It's like so cringe. Like
yeah, I guess he wanted to be a rapper before he joined personal development.
Of course.
Yeah. So he's rapping at the like ashram, like the Hare Krishna movement, with a monk playing violin when he's 17.
Yeah.
And then his story is that he met a monk for the first time. Like he went to college, and then he saw a monk speak for the first time when he was 21. But there's videos of him in an ashram at 17 rapping.
Yeah, the BLM thing. He showed like the footage of like George Floyd with the knee on the neck. So people think that is in bad taste because that's, supposedly George Floyd's death. So that was in the video, but like it's also like he's getting blamed for the death of like Breonna Taylor, whatever, even all those black people that got killed, with whether or not they're real or not, I don't know. I tend to think that the entire narrative is made up. I will stand on that, but that's just my feeling when I check in about it. I'm like, this is noise. But anyway, so he did that, and it's apparently like it's in bad taste if you think it's all real, which most people do. So it's like, it's a really bad video. Like, it's like, you would never do this. But he was like trying to like show how he supports BLM, because he was jumping on that bandwagon. And then he's been on Ellen and Gwyneth Paltrow and Goop and, all that kind of stuff. He made his rounds.
Yeah, and he officiated J-Lo's wedding. Earlier I told Miriam, I was like, yeah, and he married J-Lo. She's like, he married J-Lo?
I was like, what?
He got married to J-Lo? I was like, oh, no. Like, he officiated the wedding.
I was like, damn. Because I was like, that must be some sort of initiation for them, because all those fuckers are marrying J-Lo.
That's funny.
I don't know. Alex Rodriguez and whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's fascinating. But, and I think that, yeah. And there's a good juxtaposition here, because I think when I zoom out and I look at what us, the intuitive population, are actually here to do, we're here to do something substantial. And I think there's an inner calling within us that calls us to do something, and we don't entirely know what it is. And when we look out in the world, the people that we see being praised for the closest thing we could imagine us doing, which is being some sort of public figure and speaking our spiritual truths, whatever, it's easy to imagine that. When we see the people doing it, like, it's people like that, and it's very
I
cheesy.
know. And you know, I must say that was the one time Matt Kahn's feed got all fucking twisted and dark, was when after he'd come back from the Ellen show.
Yeah. Well, he had just signed a book deal with Ellen because she was going to promote his book in her book club.
Is that what happened?
That was the announcement. Yeah. And then he at the same time decided he was going to move to Portland, and then everything started falling apart. It was very interesting.
Weird. But his feed was so muddled that we went down to Portland,
Mm-hmm.
Oregon to
Mm-hmm.
go to that event, and like,
yeah, and it felt weird.
It just felt dirty, like crooked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird with that industry how it infiltrates
Uh-huh.
under the guise of like you're doing better and like more popular, more people, more eyes, more
Yep.
publicity, but like there's like this snaky energetic that comes in the background and like just fucks up your life.
Yeah. Big time. Yeah.
Well, I don't think anyone's going to write an article about how you weren't really a monk
No, I don't think so. I don't think so.
or how you weren't really a Jehovah's Witness.
I definitely was.
It is weird though to like, well, okay, let's talk about the other element of it.
Okay.
Like the struggle piece.
Okay.
I think that's a huge part of this whole thing.
Yeah, what do you mean?
I was setting you up.
I just don't know what I don't know what you're trying to get me into.
The like, well, because you can see the path where there's like the rise to fame and the riches and the
Yeah.
and like there's a character that you have to play. There's
Yes. And I think that's where that snaky weird energy comes in. Like, I think we all have an understanding of who we would need to be and the messages we would need to portray in order to hit. But those messages are the messages that are predefined within the collective field, and they're inherently dark.
Yep.
So you have to embody a degree of darkness in your teachings to then hit in the mainstream. And when you think you have to do that in order to get your message out further, then you're willing to invite more of that into, and it muddles things.
Yeah. Well, because then you end up pulling from that feed instead of
Exactly. Yeah, what
feed.
works instead of what's true.
Yeah. But just even in our own personal life, and I think our very slow come up, which I don't even know, I hope we're going up.
Sure.
Like, I think there's this sense of relatability and truth within like just living like a real life. Like, it would be so bizarre if we had copious amounts of money, all this like land, all the things, and then like I would be one of those fucking Instagram people that I can't stand.
I know. Well, that was the thing that it hit for me, was reading Jay Shetty, because I was like, I don't want to do this. And I feel like these people aren't helping people more than they're being helped themselves by pretending to help people. And that life is so repulsive to me that it makes me double and triple check myself.
Yeah.
Hard. Because we're in a similar industry, you know?
Yeah.
But there's something about us struggling that has justified that for me. And I don't entirely know where it goes yet, but I know there's a thread there, because there's something about, like, it would be hard for me to imagine us doing well in the way that I ultimately feel like we could. And to facilitate this journey, that lots of it is just, it's struggle, it's hardship, and it's facing that hardship head on with no solution. And it's hard to say things like that with a straight face if you don't buy it all the way. And I think that's why it really had to drill down into, like, I need to be 100% sure within my being. At least I need to be 100% convicted that what I'm doing is right. Because if it's easy if I'm also struggling and we're doing the same thing. It's much easier than if I'm not struggling as much from our life getting better from the second paradigm. You know, like when I imagine the influencer life and I imagine being Jay Shetty, not, you know,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, man, can I still stand on it then? Like,
Right.
do you know what I mean?
Right.
And if it's not real, then no,
Exactly.
then no. Because
Mm-hmm.
I would never want to dip from what the messages are to then go and like try to monetize the thing to then make my life better to then, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like it can get so dirty so quick.
Mm-hmm.
Like it has to be standing on an actual foundation of truth.
I know. I feel like back in the day when we were talking to Nick about this stuff, like
Yeah.
this is a huge one that we ended up talking about.
Hmm. Yeah, big time.
Is like, why is it that the people I hire, their life is getting better and better and better, and then mine isn't?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I know. And I would never want to be that, right? And
No,
I have this strong aversion to being that archetype and playing that role in any way, shape, or
I
form.
don't think you
But
ever
like
would, honestly.
on on paper, what we're doing is a very similar thing. Do you know what I mean? It's a very similar role. So it's like the difference is in the ideology and the things that we're actually teaching and what this
Mm-hmm.
work actually is. Like the
Mm-hmm.
difference is the actual worldview. The difference is what we're
Yeah.
standing on.
Well, the difference too is the lived experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like everything from that worldview, from that perspective, from those embodiments of those people is like, it's panic. It's panic, make an impact. Panic, make money. Ask somebody, borrow from somebody. Like it's all this like, it's so graspy.
Hmm.
Like when they're advising you on what to do with your finances, it's always like, well, don't you have a friend that owes
Yeah.
you and da da
Yeah.
da.
No.
Like it's so crazy.
It's really sickening. That's why I quit.
And I think there's something like, it's funny that you were getting this like, last night into the early morning.
Hmm.
And then this morning when I was in the shower, I was getting this whole message around like being here, living here with my mom, and like how if I were to share this with one of those types of people, like they wouldn't get it. They wouldn't feel the truth in
No.
it. They would want me out. They would say, "Oh my God, Miriam, like that you shouldn't be, you need boundaries and you need to put up whatever." Like there would be all
Yeah.
these rule sets.
Yeah. It would be energetic protection and a plan out.
Yeah, but manic. It would all be manic. None of
100%.
it would be aligned or true, because if they actually were pulling truth, it's like, no, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Like if anything
Yeah.
was off, I would tell you.
Yeah.
They would say what I say to people. I do say that. But if something's off, I will also tell you if it's fucking off.
Yeah.
Um, but like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's really interesting because that was the main thing that was just like over and over and over again this morning in the shower was like this is all very intentional and right, and that's what you're following the rightness of your life and
Hmm.
knowing that your circumstances, they may suck, but it's
Hmm.
right. So can
Hmm.
you trust it? And then once you're trusting that it's right and that
Hmm.
supersedes anything else, any sort of noise,
100%.
then it's like game over. Like darkness can't win
Yeah.
when your psychology is solid, when you're standing on a solid foundation.
Yeah.
Like there's no like, yeah, but if I just had this, it like all that shit goes out the window. It's like, no. It's
Hmm.
like, fuck, this is pretty perfect. Because then you get into the situations where you're playing out other timelines and you're like, oh, fuck. Like, yeah, that just doesn't fit right now. Like that, or that wouldn't work. Or like, oh, God, then I would have to live with so and so, or whatever the fuck the thing is. I don't even know. But like, you play out those timelines, and it's when you're really real with God and asking about alternate timelines, that's totally different than like the fantasy of how good things could be if only if insert
Hmm.
$1 million, insert somebody dies, insert nobody wishes for people to die. I think that's just me. Which segues so well into your thoughts do not create your fucking reality. I wrote about that today on Instagram
Yeah.
because I have wished a gazillion fucking times for my dad to die since the age of 18, because I just thought my life would be easier if he was just didn't fucking exist here. And he's still here. Just saying. I have not understood. There had an uncle that was dying and he still didn't die yet. He was like, I was like, this is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, just go already, buddy. Like, you can just go. Like, what the fuck's the holdup? Because our thoughts don't create our reality. Because if they did, then no one would be wearing masks around me. And everyone wears masks. There's like an uptick in mask wearing.
Mm-hmm.
I noticed in the last few days. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, what is going on? There must be some new announcement. But anyway, I just think there's something, for whatever reason, like our current circumstances, living here and it not being like our ideal, but can we still trust it anyway? And can we still be with the challenges that come in living in this environment that we wouldn't have if David and I just lived on our own and had our own place?
Yeah.
Like, can we trust that this is ideal from the perspective of divinity?
Yeah. Yeah. Something about going back and looking at my retarded, unstable consciousness.
That's so funny. I
It
did
helped.
not even notice.
Yeah, I can show
So
you
I
if
guess
you want.
that
Maybe
is
one day I'll
telling
show
of
you.
where I was at.
Yeah,
too.
I know. I know.
Yikes.
I know.
I was like all hard eyes. David, oh my God.
Well, yeah, something about seeing that version of myself made it, I don't know, it makes it easier to see that higher vantage point now.
Mm-hmm. And that'll only continue.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a thread I wanted to pull on with, it's still juxtaposing Jay Shetty with what we're doing. Like all of us. All of us. Just as the archetype.
Yeah, it's just such a funny. We've never once talked about Jay
No.
Shetty ever.
No,
It's funny.
no. It's just up because we just watched
Yeah, no, it's
his
good.
lies.
Watch his lies. His lion eyes. His eyes are so blue. Okay, what's the juxtaposition?
I don't know exactly what I'm feeling. I don't know. It feels easy to, I don't know, to believe that that's right, or like that's how the world works and that's how things should be. And I think it's hard to imagine how we can do something of impact when that is where the world is at, and that's who's getting praise, and that's where, that's where things are at. There's a thread there.
And then when you call out truth, people just kind of shrug it off. It's like, yeah, but this guy's plagiarizing everything. And they're like, oh, well, yeah, he probably just, he just forgot to cite it. It's not a big deal. Like everyone just like writes it off like it's no big thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. There's a feeling in there. I don't know. I thought I would unpack more, but for some reason I don't have the words. I can feel it.
And if you remember from our last live, David doesn't like to talk things out. He can only type them.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, just say more about the juxtaposition of it. I got a little lost there.
Yeah, I know. Because it's like, it's connecting a point that I haven't made yet.
Life of a channel.
I don't know. I lost it. It was many minutes ago, and I was trying to hold on to it, but it's just slipped more and more. That's okay. It's okay. I'll find it if it's important.
Okay, should we talk about eBay?
Yeah.
We sold 2 items today.
Very true. Very true.
Emil, we did get your sweater back.
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
Their return. It's like buried.
You know what I think it is I just wish that intuitive people, myself included, saw ourselves more clearly than we do.
That's what I'm saying.
I know.
That's what I told
I
Nick
know.
in
That's
the
where
DMs.
I know. That's where it started. That's where it started.
Exactly. Because if you did, it would be overwhelming.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
there would be no more insecurity and worry of woe is me and these are the things that are wrong and I must have fucked up this and if I only did this better and if I managed that right, then
Yeah.
this wouldn't have happened. And
Yeah.
it's like, for fuck's sake.
You know what I think it is? Okay, here's the thread that I was missing. It's because it's personal, so I forgot. It's the thread of like not wanting not really wanting the fame or it's not really fame. Fame would be fine. Honestly, I'd be okay with fame. It's the power. I don't want power over people's psychology.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it makes me like double and triple check myself to a degree that I would never have to if I didn't feel like it was even a slight probability that would be the case. Like even with our business where it's at, there's a degree of understanding that what I say matters and I choose my words carefully. Like I choose the concepts that come through. I'm overly careful.
I'm overly reckless.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's true.
But I don't think you have the same thing as me.
I don't have that.
Because I feel like this thing that we're doing, because I don't see a replacement for it. I don't think anything like it exists.
Agreed.
I've never seen anything like it.
Agreed.
And for me, like for that version of me that wants nothing more than to find truth and is deeply desperate and has no idea why money is so hard, why he's so fucking confused all the time. That version of me in like January 2017. Without this, I don't know where the fuck I would be. And I don't even have to imagine. I can see it with my own fucking eyeballs. There are a lot of people struggling in the same way. And it's not the fucking San Francisco homeless population, although, sure.
Them too. Well, they're actually sitting great.
Yeah, I know. They're fine.
Their burritos.
No, it's the intuitive population. There was even a guy on our walk today, and you can tell
Deep thinker.
Deep scanner.
Oh, that's what you got? I got deep thinker.
Yeah.
I heard deep thinker. As soon as he came, I was like, oh, deep thinker.
Yeah. But there's just a subset of the population sometimes I go back and forth, you know, I'm like, okay, well, is this work good enough and is it valid enough and does it actually track and is it actually what my observations are seeing? But yeah, there's a population and it's fucking not most people. But there are people who have this deep calling within them and they listen and they follow this inner voice and they call it different people. There's a decent amount of Christians, not fucking most Christians, honestly, but there's some Christians who I see who just use the fucking God, Jesus language, but they're saying all the same shit. They're following this deep inner knowing within them. Mm-hmm. And when I watch them try to make sense of their worldview or try to make sense of their reality and why they're struggling, they can't.
Yeah.
And they're confused and they're in pain. And I watched myself bawl for like fucking 15 minutes yesterday. Just bawl. I fucking went in, just fucking purge, and then I just burst into tears with my fucking eyes closed, sitting on a meditation cushion.
As you do in Encinitas.
Yeah, as you do in Encinitas. Yeah, but I'm not made to sit on the fucking floor. My joints don't work that way. I used to sit with my knees outwards, like you not crisscross the other way, like a fucking W. I can't. So my like hip joints are fucking weird. I probably developed weird because of the fucking vaccine schedule or something. I don't know. I don't know what the fuck happened to me, but my hips don't work that way. So I shouldn't be sitting on a meditation cushion. Makes no goddamn sense. But I was sitting there and I would get so stiff and whatever.
Because you were meditating.
But I watched myself just fucking burst into tears and bawl because I could not make sense of why life was so challenging. I couldn't make sense of like why I couldn't quite figure out money in a way where I didn't have to worry about it anymore. Why it just didn't make sense. I wanted nothing more.
Like everyone else.
Yes. But I wanted nothing more than to just like do something that was true and right. And I tried so fucking hard and I couldn't get there. And I know that there are a good amount of people that are there right now. And I know that people honestly struggle significantly more than me constantly with things that I know how to walk them out of.
Yeah.
And that's hard. I feel two conflicting forces within me. One is like, okay, I need to get out and help them. The other one is like, before I get out there and help them, I need to make sure that I'm right, because if I'm not, I don't want to be a fucking Jay Shetty.
Right.
I can't do that. I can't create a fucking cult. I fucking grew up in a cult. I can't do that. No fucking way. I want nothing more than to be as far away from that as possible. But I'm going into like the same realm, the same fucking topics, the same, you know what I mean? It's like, fuck. How the fuck do I go into this thing that I hate? I hate spiritual people in general, the spiritual communities. I hate that pocket of new age. I hate fucking personal development. I hate the fucking self-help industry. And I hate the fucking religious culty bullshit. I hate all of it. Like, I have a deep disgust for it. But like, I feel like I'm getting called to do the exact same thing. And if I don't, I will watch people suffer, and I know that I can help them. And that sucks. So like, I feel like I have to like get over it. Like, I gotta like,
Yeah.
you know, I just gotta
makes
fucking
sense why God would send you in there.
100%. It all tracks. I agree. Because I need those experiences, and it also keeps me pure and precise. Because otherwise it would be too tempting. It's too easy to click into a groove unless you know that it's dark as fuck. Like, you have to know. You have to know exactly why it's wrong, or else you'll do it. Because it's too easy. It's just fucking, you click right in. It's like, this is just the thing you do. This is how you grow a spiritual business. All right. What they're doing is great. It seems to be working for them. Jay said he seems like a good guy. Some great quotes. Looks familiar, but it's a great quote. But yeah, I feel this like deep responsibility within me, but I also have to be able to get over myself. And I think that's that's honestly the hardest thing. And I don't always know how relatable the feelings I have are, but I think this one applies across the board. I really do, because I think most people listening, and most intuitive people in general, have a sense that they're supposed to be doing something, and that they know that they can help people in a very real and tangible way, but like, they can't bring themselves to do the things because they don't completely trust that what they're doing is even okay.
Yeah. That's 100% relatable.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that conflict is rough.
Yeah.
Is rough. And I guess that's why it's so important to look back and go like, fuck. Like, look at what I've actually done. Look at where I've actually come. I'm doing the only thing that matters to me. And like, who am I to think that this only matters to me? That's a stupid way of thinking. Like, that like, I wouldn't give up this life and what I'm doing and this truth that I've gotten for anything, any amount of money, any fucking anything. There's no bitches that could sway me. You know, nothing. Nothing.
Did you hear
It's true.
that?
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, I know.
And it's weird to have something that I value so deeply, but just to assume that nobody's going to give a fuck at all. And to assume that, like, I'm here. It's actually hard to make it to make sense. It's more of a feeling. It's a retarded feeling that I think most of us have, that for some reason our gifts don't work here. It doesn't even make sense that we're sent in by God,
Wrong.
our souls, the fullest expression of our soul, you know, like, we're called on this path. We work through all of this hardship. We carry all of this wisdom, and we're going to be positioned for nothing. That makes no fucking goddamn sense.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's still believable inside. And I notice B trying to put pressure on that, at least as of late, in like members, and I'm sure Live with B will be similar, the Pulse will be similar, trying to put pressure on that, of like, really sit with who the fuck you are. Like, really sit with how fucking dark it is. And it seems so simple, and it's like, it's almost like drilling in the same thing, but it's putting pressure on a feeling that like we have. It's in here, and it's the thing that's keeping us from even buying that we're okay.
Yeah.
Because there's a degree of like relinquishing control, and there's a degree of like letting go, and there's a degree of trusting ourselves that, like, it needs to go further than where we are.
Yeah.
It needs to go a lot further. And the only way for it to get further is for us to face all of that shit. Like, for me, I had to go fucking head first, and like, okay, well, I need to validate that B is real by going into all of my worst fears of exactly the experiences that I can point to.
Hi, Danny.
Hi, Danny. Hi, Emil.
Oh, Emil. Hi, Emil. Sorry.
It's okay. But like for me, I have to go into all of the experiences to try to disprove myself, and like that's what it looks like for me. Like I have to try to go into the things that hurt the most, and then see if God is still there, if God has an answer for it. And I think that's the weirdly that's what this process looks like, at least at some point, is like just even having the courage to go in and face the things that we think are deal breakers or worldview breakers, like the things that we think would actually destroy us if we were to actually consider them in our own experience, things that have actually happened. Like, well, yeah, I don't know, that one time, that relationship and the way it played out, like, ooh, that definitely, like they're just these things where, like, ooh, but I don't know. If I think about that too much, like I'm worried that I'll find out that God isn't real. It feels like there's these pockets of our emotion that we don't even go to because it's like, ooh, yeah, that's unresolvable. Feels like that's the exact place that we need to be going at.
Mm-hmm.
And truthfully, God's already pressing us into it anyway. That's what our circumstances are designed to do. That's the justification behind our suffering. That's the intention behind our hardship.
Yeah.
Is to get us to face those things. Because if we don't, we're never going to buy who we are. We're never going to get on board with who we actually even are. And if we don't even fucking believe ourselves, there's no goddamn chance we're going to stand on a stage or fucking do anything. There's no chance we're going to do anything related to our life's work, because the moment your life's work becomes something that makes your life better, you're going to feel terrible about it unless you can back it. That's what I realized last night looking at Jay Shetty. If we succeed, I will not be able to handle it because I don't believe myself enough to handle it. I feel like I do significantly more now. Fuck. Oh my God. After watching those videos. Oh my God. Unbelievable. But like there's this, I don't know. I don't know if that's it. That's it.
No, that was great. Danny, just to let you know, I was equally excited to see you, but I only saw you. And then I got more, it sounded like I got more excited to see Emil, but it was equal excitement. I just want you to, so I was like, oh, Emil! But I didn't see, like, I thought we went right into like Ben, Sarah, Danny. So
That's funny. That's funny.
Just to clear the air.
Emil, I don't know what your comment was to, or at least I'm afraid I do.
I don't know. I don't know what he was responding to. And then I don't know who you are, Lamar.
I don't know.
Hey guys, you're awesome. Thanks. The lady can do a punch like boxing? Question mark. Thanks.
I don't know. Is this like a kinky thing?
I don't know.
Are you weird?
No, I don't get the weird vibes. No, I mean maybe, but
That's
like.
Funny.
I don't know. I was gonna ask you. Well, our roast is almost done, but I was gonna ask you more about the power piece. Not wanting that type of power.
Yeah. What about it?
Well, because I don't really ask questions. I more so bark at the thing. But like, I think you need to accept that you are going to have that power over people. Like most of the time, like most people, like even just strangers that we fucking meet, like trust you genuinely. Like there is a goodness and a purity that just comes from you, and you don't abuse it ever, and you never will.
Yeah. I know that I say things and people change the way they think.
Yes.
And they make decisions differently based on that.
I saw it at the HOA meeting. It was weird, guys. When David talks, everyone listens. But it's different. It's different than anything I've ever experienced. Like you know the saying. You're like, oh, when they talk, everyone shuts up and listens. But it's different because you're right. It does change the way that they think. But it never comes back to you either. It's never like, oh, well, David asked this really great question that got me thinking about. Like it becomes their own thought. Which is, I don't know.
Yeah.
Are we getting into too much like
No.
territory?
No, just the power thing.
Oh, you said you didn't have any bitches.
I
that
said
could
I don't have
sway
bitches that can sway me. At least I'm afraid I do. That's funny. That's funny.
you. I love that that was the line. I really
Uh-huh.
love that you typed bitches.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, the power piece of it. I think there's just an acknowledgement. Like it's like what you told me a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying like, well, Miriam, like them, like people taking on your truth as their truth is closer to them than whatever the fuck they were doing before.
Mm-hmm.
And that was weird because I was like, wait, really?
Mm-hmm.
And it made me so uncomfortable
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes me uncomfortable too.
because I was
But
like, I don't even think that's true for them. Why are they saying
yep,
what I said?
yep,
Like, I don't even, that doesn't even make sense. Like, based on all of their, and then David's like, yeah, but it's pushing them in the direction of their own truth, of their own knowing.
yeah, because the average person is deeply confused and they don't know why they are struggling. They don't know why the things that they are doing aren't working. And I think most of all, they don't know why the things they are doing aren't making them feel better.
Right. Right.
They have
That's the
no
big
idea
one.
why, and that is causes a degree of like existential pain that they just can't get over.
But it's really soothing to come to you because, like, even like the littlest shits, like the dumbest things, when I asked David, I'm like, why is this just like eating at me? I was like, it must be because of blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, what? He's like, no, it's because of this. And I'm like, oh, that hurts even more, but it's the truth. Fuck.
Hmm.
Like, remember when I thought that that girl was like trying to, um, I don't even remember the story now.
I don't know. Well, you thought she respected you so much or something,
Yeah,
or she was trying to like win you over or
right.
something.
I thought that I thought she wanted to like befriend me,
No,
but
but she was just
really,
being petty.
yeah, really,
Yeah.
she was just being petty and hates my guts and doesn't understand why I don't do what she wants me to do.
Yeah, essentially.
But I didn't.
Essentially, that
I
was
didn't.
it.
That did not compute. Like I kept checking in and asking for clarity, and like I just kept getting back like this jumbled. Like I couldn't get it. But then I told David, and he's like, "Oh, well, that's because she's petty and she doesn't like you." And I was like, "Oh, that's so true. Fuck." And it like resolved the whole
Yeah.
thing, and I never
Yeah.
even thought about it since.
Yeah.
But before that, it was just this like constant. Like, I mean, that's one of your constant churning, but that's one of your greatest gifts is to be given like minimal fucking information of an individual and then translate it into something that just like soothes them.
Yeah.
And that is going to hold some weight here,
Yeah.
like a fuck ton.
Yeah. 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 And the conflict around it is I need to know that I am correct.
Yeah. Do you?
More now than ever, 100%.
Cool.
Yeah. 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 Because here's I think the equation
Okay.
is if I have a degree of power over people because I am just good at things and I end up overriding people's sovereignty and making decisions for them, there's something inherently dirty about that.
Yes.
But the equation cleans up a lot when you're pulling things through from God. The equation cleans up a lot.
Oh, 100%.
It's a completely different thing. But in order for that to be true, we have to buy our worldview. We
Yeah.
have to believe that the way we are experiencing reality and light and truth within ourselves, that this thing that we are feeling deep within us is actually God and that God is external. And that God that is external that we are following has guidance for other people. And that's the guidance that they're getting anyway. And we're helping them to solidify that within them.
Yeah.
That's a completely different equation.
Yeah.
Because then you work for God.
Right.
And when you work for God, you're just helping to expedite what they're trying to get to anyway as the soul.
Yep.
Right? And that's a very, very, very different thing. Yeah, like it's immediately okay. It's immediately okay when I know that, okay, cool, yeah, this checks out because B and my oversoul and God all say the same things. That for me validates things a lot. One, them being external validates a shit ton. The fact that like I can watch myself like having a complete fucking mental breakdown and then B's like, here, this, and this. And I'm like, oh, thanks. That's like, it can't be my neural circuitry. My neural circuitry was fucked. If I had to fucking journal, my name is David Jonathan Rostowski. There's no fucking way
Mm-hmm.
that I was pulling through cleanly what the fucking timelines were going to be and how to navigate
Right.
all that. It makes no
Right.
goddamn sense.
Right.
Certainly back then, even more than now. So them being external and it being consistent from the felt sense of God, the felt sense of my oversoul, and the felt sense of be, that cleans up things a lot. And when I'm able to validate all of this and just know where I'm at and see, okay, I'm on Earth and things are dark. That makes sense. That's why things are hard here and like certain circumstances are pressing in, because I can tell that I have this fucking emotional thing that needs to be overcome before I do what I'm actually here to do. Like when I make sense of my reality, everything's fine. Everything's fine and everything's really relatively easy. You just stay on the track and you keep doing it. But it's those emotional pockets that get in the way of that just flips shit on its head. And yeah, I feel more okay now than ever of stepping in whatever fucking role it is. I'm just going to do what I'm here to do, and I'm going to say the things I'm here to say, and I'm going to pull through whatever comes through, and wherever it goes is wherever it goes. And I kind of don't give a fuck, you know? It's like that's like the real felt sense of where it goes.
Yes. And that's the recklessness.
Yeah, that is the recklessness.
To
100%.
that piece of you.
100%.
Because I know we've gotten into like tiffs about this because like I'm pretty reckless, as we know, and I just say whatever the fuck. And like there is this like weird deep trust within me that like, well, they'll take it however they need to take it.
Yep, 100%.
Like it's like whatever. I don't know. I just fucking said it. It's like, well, Miriam, you can't say that. It's like, well, I did. We're live. We can delete the live, but I said it, and I would say it anyway, even if we weren't live. You know, like it's like, and that used to make your butt pucker, and I would say,
yeah,
it doesn't anymore.
Yeah,
it's not as fun.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's cool. It's cool to hear you coming to this place because you are built different, and you do have like a different responsibility, and like there is a different flavor, a different flavor of transmission. Yeah, but the same like level of carelessness is awesome.
Yeah.
Because what that's showing is your deeper trust in your channel, your deeper connection to God. Like all of that is just landing even deeper.
Yeah.
It's cool to see it and hear you the way you're talking about it.
Yeah. And the reality of it is that I'm still very precise about things and still,
of course,
very careful.
Exactly.
But there's just a being okay with the way that it's happening.
Yep.
You know, it's just like letting go more of the tension around the process.
Less of a butt pucker.
Yeah, less of a butt pucker, same actions. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but that one was a mind fuck for me. Seeing the like, if I were to suddenly be successful, it would fuck up my psychology.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. Because
really
it requires more trust in who I am and what I'm doing than I've ever had.
Yep. Yeah, because I mean, one mean comment on the internet could take you out. Like just said in the right way or whatever, you know
what it is? It's not even the comments, it's not anything that comes back. It is the sheer number of people and knowing it. It's knowing the sheer number of people that I would be directly impacting that would be hearing. It's more the positive comments, honestly. I'm fine with being like fucking.
I know you're good at that.
I'm fine with like just fucking bullshit, whatever. People can say whatever the fuck they want about me. I came out as a galactic channeling an alien from the starship fucking Sirius. Like I came out weirder than I am now. Way fucking weirder than I am. And I blew through like 3,000 people who I'd met and fucking cultivated all these relationships as an entrepreneur and a coach and fucking networking and fucking building business.
That's true.
Just came out to this whole fucking swath of people like, hello. I just want to let you know that I've been doing this whole mental illness thing, and just want to share that with you here in a quick video. All right, 1 second. Let me close my eyes and breathe for a bit, and then I'm going to be a different person. It's like, fuck. I already did that, and then drilled it home with the whole fucking going from Democrat to Republican thing, and 2020, and pushing back on people, and then the fucking masks, and the COVID, and all of that. Like I feel like I got enough through that, but it's not even really praise. It's like seeing the message actually get out there. That's the thing that's scary, because I have to be right. and it has to be good and it has to be true.
Yeah, but listen,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Jay Shetty is out there,
I know. I know.
and his
I know. I'm
message
not
is
saying it doesn't make sense. I'm not
wrong.
saying it doesn't make
Wrong.
sense. Or I'm not saying it does make sense. I'm saying it feels that way. It feels
I
that way.
understand.
And that, for some reason, that just, it hit something just right where I was able to drill it all the way down to the core. And I guess that's what I'm always looking for. I'm looking for the piece of my emotional circuitry that lets me hit the core, where it's like, oh, fuck, God's not real there. That's what I'm always scanning for. Like, where is God not real in my being?
Yep.
It's not that fucking mechanical. I'm not sitting down, where is God not in my being? But it feels like that.
Yeah.
Like it feels like that's what's being
the only
scanned.
person that does that, honestly.
Maybe.
And we rely on you for that skill.
Maybe.
Because I wouldn't even know how to get there. Like, I don't even know where you're talking about. The core of your
I know, I'm
being
trying to describe it.
Get to
I'm
a
like
place.
gesturing at the general place of the energetic as if that's fucking meaning anything. Like, it just like drills right down into the.
I'm like, I just cry, or I just whatever until
Yeah, I understand.
until I don't know, until you come upstairs.
And I guess you know why
hold
is
me.
because you're right. You're actually right. This is a function of being a channel. This is 100% a function of being a channel.
Well, because I feel like what's his name's talked about. Not this. Anyway, keep going.
Because I need to be in the pocket in order for the truth to mean anything. Like it needs, so
Right.
like the message can come through of like, so if you're having a very hard time, like this, but it doesn't, I'll forget it. Like it means nothing.
Yep.
It needs to land inside of the feeling. Like my body needs to get to a point where like, if they're going to teach me how to trust myself more at scale, they need to make me feel like a fraud, and they need to drill it in as hard as they can.
Yep.
So that I can go, oh, okay, yep, that's what that feels like. And why does it feel like that? What's it stemming on? And then they kind of unpack what my psychology is resting on, and then give me something new.
Right.
So you're right. It is a function of being a channel.
I feel like, yeah, that's helpful for Chelsea too. Chelsea, if you're watching.
Yeah, I thought of you too, actually.
You did too? Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Chelsea. I
Yeah.
was like, oh my God, she loves this part. That's what I just was thinking as you were talking.
That's funny. That's funny. Yeah.
You can comment and say I was right too, so then I can have two rights. David said I was right and Chelsea said I was right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not relatable. It
Yeah.
is like, it's just not.
Yeah. And I guess this is where, and I've known this for a bit, but when we get into the life work stuff, it gets so personal, and it gets so, even just at the beginning of the live, talking about how Ben experiences his circumstances, like this doesn't really mean anything to that. It's a completely different map.
Right.
And it's the same with Nick and the way he experiences synchronicities and his comics, and it's such,
layers.
Yeah, and the way things come in, and just the like, I think for Nick, the packets come in and they just sit and they brew and they churn and they kind of like slowly, it's more of a creative process, which is fascinating. Because for me, it's an emotional process. My channel's an emotional process.
Well, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's accurate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what my process is. Just straight fire. Like, it's like quick to anger and like call bullshit. Like it's like 0 to 100.
Yeah.
This isn't right. This isn't right.
Yep. So similarly, reality would have to press you into a pocket where you are angry, and you have to become unreasonably angry at something, right?
Yes,
Like it's like you have to become angry at something in a way that most people aren't angry at it in order to access
No
it.
one gives a shit.
Yeah, nobody gives a shit. But like you have to be made to give a shit, because you can't access the truth until it needs to come into the rage.
Yep.
Or else it doesn't work.
Emily, I think you're wired similarly. For real.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because then I get heated about like HOA shit, and it's like, in the grand scheme, it doesn't fucking matter. It's like, really? But then it also ignites other people, because it's like, oh yeah, that is fucked up. It's like, But yeah, it's like, but it has to poke through all the like, the like social barriers, or like it just has to, it has to pop through like a membrane. I feel like that's why it's so fierce.
Yeah. Well, and that membrane's a collective field, because you're popping through the consensus that makes things that are wrong good.
Yes. The fact that you can even explain that shows that
I can feel it.
I know, it's wild.
Yeah, I can
But like
feel it and
nobody
see
else
it.
could say that.
Sure.
Like your average person that isn't a channel
Yeah.
and doesn't process information like you do, like wouldn't be able to articulate that, because you also, not only are you feeling these emotions,
Mm-hmm.
but you're like able to articulate them back with a solution.
Yeah. Or else I wouldn't feel them. So what the fuck's I would never feel my emotions unless I got something from them.
Right, but I imagine there are people out there that are feeling these same emotions. Oh, of course, that's most people, and they don't have a way out.
Yeah.
There is no, you are the articulation. Like you're giving people a way out.
Yeah.
Don't let that bounce off your face.
I let it bounce off.
I know. That's why I put it back.
Well, because this show's not about me. I told my whole story.
Even before King Solomon. This is definitely about you.
Mm-hmm.
I think our dinner's ready, and
Yeah.
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else?
I just want the thing that's about me to also be relevant, and I think it is. There's threads.
It's definitely
There's
relevant.
definitely threads. I just want people to know who the fuck they are.
Exactly. Well, you can go first. You learn who the fuck you are.
Yeah, I know. It's my job.
Mm-hmm.
It's my job.
I know. That's what I want too. I mean, that's what I even said to my friend when we ran into her at Walmart.
Yeah.
I was like, remember who you are. She's like, I know, I always forget. I'm like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
You're so well connected. You make one fucking phone call and like fucking your business is fucking booming. Like whatever the fuck you want to do. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? What do you need? Like fucking so many people, like so highly regarded in her industry. Like fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to have to keep drilling
like,
at home.
Well, I took a class. And then David's like, why? To see how stupid everybody else is and how ahead you actually are? And she was like...
Yeah, and she like smiled like as if it was like right. But like it was like, well, it was good. I learned a lot.
I was like, oh, so yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was like, remember who you are. That feels like that has been like the message as of late.
Yeah.
Like who you actually
big time.
are.
Big time.
And
like the stakes
clearly.
are getting higher.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but the stakes are getting higher. It's becoming more and more and more and more important. And as it gets more and more and more important, your circumstances are going to start hurting more and more and more and more. And if you think that's you, you're wrong. If you think that's you, you're thinking about this the wrong way. That is your emotionally retarded 12-year-old inside that does not understand reality. Things are getting harder because the stakes are getting higher for you to know who you are. And the only way to resolve it is to triple down on your belief in God and to explore it and go, okay, why can't I buy this? Like, why am I not on board? And just fucking go right into it. Yeah. Why am I still teetering? Like, what am I afraid of? What am I like, is it that God's not real because what? Is it money? Like, what am I afraid of? What, like, I need to look at this because reality's already crushing it in.
Yep.
Because this kind of hardship doesn't happen to people. This isn't something it's rare as fuck to feel that bad in a very specific way. It is so fucking rare. It's so unbelievably rare. And nobody around you will be able to relate to it. You have to understand that God is crushing your psychology into a very specific hardship so that you can see who you are. All right. Hey, that was pretty good. Full circle.
That's all I got. I don't know if I can say a full sentence.
Thanks for tuning in. We went 1 hour and 25 just for you.
Okay, just for you.
25 minute more just for you for free.
$5 extra.
Oh, don't you worry. Only $5 super chat extra. We don't even have super chats. I don't even think we have enabled. Oh, awesome. God. All right, y'all. We will talk to you later. Bye-bye.